All right, welcome to C64 Old School Retro. In this video, we're going to talk about how to get the C64 bridge project, the little adapter that we built in the last video that sends keystrokes to the Commodore C64 Ultimate. Get this working with Vibe C64. So there's just a little bit of configuration. It's going to be a very quick video. It's all documented here on the GitHub, but I'm just going to run you through it quickly. This assumes that you followed the steps in the previous video and everything's up and running. But basically all we're going to do is now set up a small bridge that runs on the local computer that acts as a serial emulator for Vibe C64 to send keystrokes through. This will be relayed through the bridge adapter and onto the Commodore C64 Ultimate. So let's start walking you through that right now. First thing, we'll scroll down to the right section here in the GitHub. We're going to copy two files across. The two files are a shell script, and this assumes you're running Linux, of course, and the Python file itself. You don't really need the shell script, but it's just there for convenience. We just need to copy these two files into the tools directory in Vibe C64 and edit any of these configuration variables so it suits your environment. In the last video, we set the device up as 192.168.1.99, and we'll need to adjust this as required, and obviously you need to adjust that for your environment. And then finally, we're going to edit the Vibe C64 env configuration file. And here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to change the keyboard device port. This typically would be a device like a serial or a serial over USB device. In this case, we're going to use the virtual serial device that we create using the C64 serial bridge piece of software. And that's going to let us get Vibe C64 typing on our Commodore C64 with no changes to the Vibe C64 code. Okay, let's switch over to our Vibe C64 installation, and over here I have my install set up. I'm in the tools directory of my Vibe C64. I've got a vanilla directory here, but whichever directory you've installed, I've got several copies of Vibe C64 running, and we're just going to pop these two files into this directory, make a couple of configuration tweaks, and then basically we're off and running. So back over here on the GitHub, you'll see that in the tools folder, there's two files that we're interested in. There's the actual bridge and just the shell script to run the bridge. All we're going to do is basically create these files with a bit of shameless copy and paste over here on our local PC. And just going to paste in this code over here from GitHub. Save it, and then we're going to do the same thing for the shell script. And again, you don't really need the shell script. It's just that little bit of added convenience. Same thing. Okay, and back over to GitHub, a little bit of copy and paste. Okay, and in we go. Okay, and then we just switch over to GitHub, and you can see the rest of the instructions are there towards the bottom of the page. We just got to basically make the files executable, and then we can run through a test. So let's do that now. Change the shell script to be executable. Oop. That assumes I'm not in the tools directory, so there we go. And then we can run the shell script. But before we do that, we're going to make these configuration changes in the Python code. So we'll pop over to the console again, and we're just going to edit the Python code. There'll be a configuration section down here. And basically all we're going to do is set the IP address that we used in the C64 bridge project setup. Obviously the port and any password, And you can see here, this is basically the virtual device that we're going to set up for use with Vibe C64. Now with the Python configuration variables set properly, we're just going to quickly update the run script and set these variables. In my case, they're actually set correctly already, which is fantastic. And then we just basically need to run the bridge and fire it up. Now it's important to run the bridge before you start up Vibe C64. Otherwise, Vibe C64 won't be able to access the virtual device that we're creating. So the virtual device here is /temp/C64KBD0. So we're going to copy that because we're going to go pop into the Vibe C64 configuration variables right now. Okay, we're just going to pop into my Vibe C64 directory and we're going to edit the configuration file and scroll down to the section that we're really interested in, which is basically this line here, C64 keyboard device port equals XXX. And basically we're going to change that to be the port that is displayed on the C64 bridge that's running there. And if we save this now, okay, we're just doing a quick test of Vibe C64 now. We've got the bridge configured here in the background. In the foreground, we've started up Vibe C64. And in a second, we should see the agent come online. And when it's ready, it should detect the virtual keyboard that we've created and be able to send keystrokes through to the Commodore C64 Ultimate that we have attached here. So once Vibe C64 initializes, we're going to give that a test. We can see here that we have the C64 keyboard connected, can send key presses to real C64 hardware. What we're going to do now is just fire up the good old Commodore C64 Ultimate and give a very simple query to Vibe C64 to send some keystrokes. Can you send the text "Hello World" to my C64? No need to check the screen. We're just basically avoiding having to set up a webcam here, and what we're hoping is we'll see the words "Hello World." Fantastic. And you'll be able to see in the background here in the bridge, we kind of have the decoded /debug version of those key presses that are happening. Also, we can see the actions on the Vibe C64 console here. And obviously in the main application itself, we can say that it's successful. The agent's finished executing. But yeah, so this is how you can connect a AI tool to have a little bit of fun with your Commodore C64 Ultimate. I have a whole bunch of projects that I've been working on for Vibe C64 in the background, including a open source router to route this to open source /free AIs. That's something that I'm working in the background. And the next project that I'm going to do a video on is called the C64 button hat. And that's a nice little project that goes on top of the C64 bridge adapter that we've built and gives you a whole array of programmable buttons specifically designed to give you functionality on your Commodore C64 Ultimate without going into those pesky menus and getting you out of the flow of enjoying your retro gaming. I hope you enjoyed this quick video. Oh, and thank you to everybody who gave feedback about the mixing of the volume and the music. I've actually documented all the settings that I'll be using in this video, and I believe I'll have a much better mix for this video, and please let me know if it's not quite right, and I'll do my best to update. Very new to this kind of thing and very embarrassed about talking in front of the microphone. So that's all. Thank you very much for listening. See you guys soon.